According to Article 448 of the DRC's Family Code, a married woman has to obtain her husband's permission to bring a case to court, which provides a major obstacle on the road to justice. There are multidimensional aspects of the problem which range from medicine and psychology to social issues, as well as the quest for justice. It is extremely difficult for victims to overcome the shame and seek treatments and then to actually travel to a hospital. Many more women might never receive any treatment at all. Injuries were not only caused by gang rapes, but also by deliberate insertions of objects into the vagina, including gun barrels, a practice already known from the war in Bosnia. Often guns were fired into the victim's vagina at point-blank range in order to cause maximum damage, often with the intention to mark the victim for life rather than kill her. Some armed groups have developed what one could call trademark injuries to make it very clear to the civilian population who is terrorising them. These attacks include burning women, raping exclusively girls aged 11 to 14, and tying the hands of the victims so tight that they have to be amputated later. The age range is equally shocking. In the eastern Congolese town of Shubanda, Médecins Sans Frontières reports that the victims included 11-year-old girls, as well as grandmothers in their 70s, and at Panzi hospitals, doctors have treated patients with rape-caused fistula between 12 months and 71 years of age. In some villages, 2 out of 3 women are rape victims. It is estimated that 250,000 women have been raped by 2006, and thousands of them have been injured so severely that they suffer fistula. Between June 2006 and May 2007, 12,876 survivors of sexual violence were identified by UNICEF, partners in the eastern region of the DRC. Of those survivors, 4,222 were children, 3,740 girls and 482 boys. Children represent an alarming 1/3 of survivors of sexual violence. So that's a synopsis of the statistics that we're dealing with in terms of the rape and sexual violence, I guess you could call it crisis, that is occurring in the Congo as a result of the continued situation of occupation by its neighbours in the northeast of the country. The TG Foundation have been advocating against rape and sexual violence since 2008. With the help of our donors, we have funded projects that support victims in the North Kivu city of Goma and the South city of Bukavu. We are currently working with a project in Bukavu called the Centre Kitumeni. We've been working with them since the beginning of the year. We hope to get a little PowerPoint presentation up, but I won't wait, I'll continue. And basically, I was introduced to the Centre Kitumeni by another activist. It's very small. I'm sure those of you who are involved with charities realise that the more you get involved, it's quite a small network of people. So having worked for the Congo now for a little over 2 years, I knew quite a lot of activists, and I was looking for a new project because we already had a project, and I was referred to the Centre Kitumeni, and they received something like $6,000 from a minister in Italy, from a province in Italy, something really random, who basically felt a lot of compassion for their plight. And with that $6,000, they just do so much. They help hundreds of women who've been affected by rape. They have nutritional programs, socio-economic programs, housing programs, educational programs. So they really did need a lot of help and a lot of resources. And we've helped put 50 children who have been affected by rape into school this September, primary school children. there were probably about 200 children. We could only afford to put 50 through, and it was quite a grueling process to have to select them from a spreadsheet, an Excel spreadsheet. But the logic is that we would just put the youngest through. So the 50 we've put through are between the age of 6 and 7, but there are many, many more who need education. And I guess it goes without saying that, you know, many of these women, because they've been raped, are rejected by their husbands, they're rejected by their communities, they have to leave their villages, they can't farm their lands, so they literally become destitute overnight because of their ordeal. So they really are very disadvantaged after they've been raped, so they could never imagine that their children could ever go to school. So these are really life-changing opportunities for these children to be able to learn how to read and write. And so tonight, the charity auction that we're hosting is going to go towards helping, we hope, another 100 children to go to school. It costs approximately £96 a year to send a child to school. That's £8 a month. And that will pay for a primary school child's tuition fees, their school books, their uniform, their backpack, their pencils. So it pretty much allows them to be able to attend school. It doesn't cover nutritional programs, etc., but it is still a good start for those children to be able to at least learn to read and write. So, you know, £8 a month, it's so negligible, it doesn't even work out at £100 a year. So the money really does go a long way. So 100 children, the target tonight is £10,000. That's what we'd need to raise to send 100 children to school. You know, we're fortunate enough that we do, at the moment, have a private donor who covers our operational costs, which means that when we hold events of this nature, 100% of proceeds that we raise really will go towards helping people at grassroots level. So all the money that's raised tonight will go towards helping these children who are so disadvantaged. And I think I'll just close with this, because it really stuck out in my mind, and I thought it was so sad. I was reading a report by one of the major charities. I think it may have been ActionAid or Save the Children, and it was research that was carried out in the northeastern Congo, and they were asking children between the age of about 6 and 7, primary school children. They did a survey on how they felt because they couldn't go to school. And these are not children affected by rape, they're just ordinary children maybe living in poverty who can't go to school. And they said they felt that when they walked through their communities, they weren't loved. And I just thought that must be really horrible to be 5, 6 or 7 and feel like everyone in your village or your town or your city is looking at you and hates you, basically. And, you know, so I always think of these children, not only are they in abject poverty, and they probably carry these emotions all the time, on top of that, they have to deal with the not really understanding why their mothers are not accepted in their local communities. So from a psychological point of view, being able to go to school for these children really is literally life-changing. So, you know, your money will go a long way. We really appreciate your support tonight, and thank you very much for taking the time to listen. Okay.